Howdy, Possum Patty, and the entire Soggy Bottom bunch here. Yippers, I am just gathering up some supplies. Well, you might remember yesterday's video when I took this fairy napkin that Crafter Deidra sent me, and I used some Mod Podge and put it into this little magical bifold journal that Trudy Craig gifted me. And yes, I came in this morning. Oh, it's the Mockingbird o'clock. I don't think you've ever heard that one. Oh, so where was I? Okay. Yes. Oh, so when I came in this morning and I sat down and I looked at this page and I was just going to grab the possum images that Deidra sent me and go over to my awesome possum journal and do a little journaling. I was like, no, wait. I'm getting inspiration from these mushrooms that the fairy is sitting on, and I would love to add a mushroom to this page. Now, I saw something the other day that I really liked, and I'm not sure how they did it. It was just an image, but we can reverse engineer it for sure, okay? So, the first thing I'm going to do is take some very inexpensive watercolor paper, and we're going to do some crayon resist painty paper, and then to make the mushroom, and then I'm going to use these threads to make the mycelium. You don't know what mycelium is? Well, I'll explain. Come on along. So here's what I have in my mind's eye. I have the traditional mushroom shape, bubble top and stem. And then down in the ground are the mycelium. Oh, and it is the Oreo o'clock. Now, the mycelium are thread-like structures that grow in the ground and all throughout the soil, under the trees and under the plants. And it's actually like the World Wide Web, only we call it the wood web, right? This is the wood web. It connects all the plants and trees in the woods. And the plants can actually communicate with each other and send water and nutrition to other plants, from one plant to another plant through this web. Yes, it's amazing what it does. But first we have to make a painty paper with neutral colors, and I want to try the crayon resist. So you just need like a white crayon, and I'm just going to draw some patterns, like some circles. I know you can't see them. And just make some scribbles and maybe some dots like that. And then I've mushed together all the colors that were in the lid of my paint box here. Maybe I'll add a little more brown to that. And then when you paint over the crayon will resist some of the color. And you'll see like a slight pattern there underneath. You can see those rings right there. So it's almost like this little design will be etched into the skin of the mushroom. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'll make something like that. And I can't see what I'm doing either, so rings are very popular. Maybe spots. These will be some spots. Yeah, so the mycelium is quite an amazing thing. Yes. And scientists are studying it and learning more about it. And it's like, where would the forest be without the fungi? And so these little myceliums, that's the organism, right? So if you see a mushroom, if you pick the mushroom, don't ever yell at somebody for picking mushrooms, right? Because the mushroom is like an apple. You pick an apple off the tree is fine. It'll make more apples. You pick a mushroom, the mushroom's fine. The mushroom is actually the threads that are in the ground. And the mushroom itself is like the reproductive body. That's going to make more mushrooms. Well, I guess if you pick too many mushrooms, then you won't have any spores to make new mushrooms. This is very, very tiny, but all the stringy white things down here in the mulch. So I was going to do this and then maybe put some splatter on it. And I'm thinking about just doing a touch of gold. I can't see what I'm doing either, so yeah, I just want to get some white crayon on there. Just to give the painty paper a little interest. All right, now let's get some neutral color. So the mycelium secrete digestive enzymes into, like, you know, the dead decomposing leaves and plant material that's in the ground. And those digestive enzymes break down this material, you know, into little nutritious bits that, you know, plants can absorb. Well, the mushroom can absorb it too, right? Well, this kind of reminds me of the mushroom I saw today out in the yard. Didn't look like that, but it reminds me of it. Looked like it had a flower on top of it. So the mycelium is an amazing thing. Oh, I read the book, but it was quite a while ago. It was called Mycelium Running, I believe. Mycelium Running. I know I've made quite a few painty papers lately, haven't I? And fairies and roses. That's a good thing. I think that was one of my goals. Not that I set goals, but one of my wishes for the new year was to get back and do more sketching and more art. And if you haven't done it for a while, you just start off slowly by, you know, making some painty paper, doing some simple fairies. So you're starting to see some of that crayon come through there. And I feel like I need to splatter. Making a darker color to splatter. Paper is pretty wet. I think I want to add some gold. I've got this Schmecky gold gouache, and it's dry gouache. You just put a little tiny bit in a cup. This was gifted to me. And put some water in. Because it's dry, you want to, you know, make sure the water gets on all those little granules there. And I want to add some gold. Ooh, look at that. I love the Schmecky gold. Well, this is coming out exactly how I imagined it. That's a little scary, isn't it? Yeah. Neutral color, a little background pattern there with the crayon resist, some splatter, and some gold. Yeah, I know this is a little different from me. I usually want all these bright colors. All right, now I'm going to dry this off. Still a little damp. I'm going to get the journal because I don't want to make the mushroom too big because I want to see some of this background. See, I want just a little one maybe to put down here and put some threads across the bottom. But then I'll make some bigger ones for, you know, general ephemera. I think to be really random, So like you're not overthinking the colors and the pattern. I'm going to turn the paper over and I'm going to look at the journal because I don't want them too large. I want them, you know, about that size because I want to see all the flowers and butterflies on there. And I also think put them in different directions. All right, now this one is way too big already. So let's try one that's smaller, maybe like that. You can have a tall one and a taller one. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I guess we'll do 10 mushrooms. And then we need 10 stems. And I'm just gonna, well, I can put them off in different directions. 3, 4, make a big one. I could always cut it down afterwards. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so these are going to be a big surprise because we didn't look at that side. And, oh, Angela Rose is still here on the table and she's working in her journal. She asked if I would please save her some scraps. Certainly, Angela. She said she's working on the green leaves to go with those roses she made. But then she'll want to do some mushroom. Oh, perfect. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I love these. I love these. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, let me give some of these scraps to Angela. Let's try a stem. Let's go for the big stem. Okay, that mushroom is really big. But I'll cut out some more and sort of mix and match until I have something I like. Oh my gosh, I just think this was the perfect blend of a little bit of white crayon resist. You can see the patterns in there. Dirty palette neutral and splashes of gold. I love that. And you can have your mushrooms combined any way you want. You can put the caps at a jaunty angle if you like. You can put the stem on the top or underneath. I picked 2 little ones to put on the page, but I'm thinking I want to distinguish a little bit more between the stem and the cap. So just a tiny bit of vintage photo around the edge like that. Oh, perfect. Possum, perfect. I made a little button one. I didn't follow the lines exactly. I just used them as suggestions, right, of where to cut for the caps and the stems. Maybe next time I'll put these little rings on them too. Here are the 8 shrooms I am not using. I did not glue the caps to the stems. I just wanted to show you. I might pack those away in a little acetate envelope for now and use them as ephemera. And here are the two that will be in the journal. And a little button one down here. I almost want to put a brown line across. And then put a couple of strings going all the way across like that. I'm going to use this Crafter Square metallic marker. It's gold, but it's more like a green gold. And just kind of mark like a ground in the background. A ground in the background. Yeah, just mark like a ground in the background. And maybe I'll just go all the way across, put the mushroom on top. Make it a little thick. Oop. Behind these mushrooms, behind the flowers. Using using some Fabri-Tac to glue the stem of the large mushroom on first. And now the cap. I'm going to put that at a slight angle. And the little button shroom. And now for the mycelium. I'm going to stretch it out. I don't want it to look too blobby. I want it to connect all the mushrooms and plants too. Oh, maybe I'll just put some glue on the page and then stick the threads down that way. Ooh, that pen kind of matches that border, doesn't it? Wow, wasn't even looking at that. Okay, Fabri-Tac is down. Tweezers might help. They might help. Or else this will be sticking to my fingers. Let's peek under this bark on this stump. And there's some white mycelium and some tannish colored mycelium. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert in fungi. You knew I'd get my fingers in there, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Giving my mycelium a haircut. Okay, now I feel like I need some kind of saying on here, some kind of words. I got a lot of mycelium left. I'll put that back in the button jar for another day. I took out my Tim Holtz Ideology clipping sticker book. Well, I have a lot of mycelium left. Let's save this for another project. And I got out my Tim Holtz Ideology clipping sticker book. I opened it up and I found a few quotes. The first one I thought was so appropriate for this page. Tell me where the unicorn is. And she's looking this way, and right behind her is the unicorn right there. How perfect is that? And then on this side, I put a hidden treasure. Yes, the mycelium is a hidden treasure because it helps the plants and the trees get water and nutrients from the soil. But also, you know, the trees give it back too. The trees produce the fats and the sugars that the mycelium can absorb. And the mycelium break down minerals in the soil so the trees can absorb it. Yes, it's quite the give and take. Yes, a very proper relationship for sure. I'm going to do one more thing here. I'm going to write from Deidra. And it's hard to write on Mod Podge. Oh, let me try black. Let's try this one. That's a little better. Oh, and it is now the morning dove o'clock. I was just going to say, well, not everything turns out exactly like you thought it would, except this did. I'm so happy with this, yes. Look at this little spread from a napkin and really fun painty paper and threads from the laundry. Threads from the laundry. What fun. I'm so happy, yes, that I used the Mod Podge to put the napkin down and then let it dry overnight because I was inspired to make these painty paper mushrooms and I love them. And I've got them all in this little pack right here, the caps and the stems. And oh, you know, I want to make more, but I also have the roses and the leaves over here. Oh, and I also have the wavy leaves. Yes, got a nice pile of ephemera over there. Well, thanks for coming along tonight. And if you made some of these painty paper mushroom ephemera, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye. Meditations on the Earth, a celebration of nature in quotations, poems, and essays. The leaves in autumn do not change color from the blighting touch of frost, but from the process of natural decay. They fall when the fruit is ripened and their work is done. And their splendid coloring is but their graceful and beautiful surrender of life when they have finished their summer offering of service to God and man. Tryon Edwards, 1809 to 1894, American theologian.